let me share the screen with you so that we can go over the program in particular, since since that's, and then okay, all right. So Guido, you can.
All right, thank you. I'm Guido Adelfio. I own Bethesda Travel Center, and we're in Bethesda, obviously. And we've been doing trips to Europe and primarily Italy for a very long time, 62 years, myself for 45 years. And
nah, you're not that old.
And we were approached by the ICS, and 2 years ago we went to Sicily. It was a nice trip, and we moved a lot. Then last year we said we can go to central Italy. We'll still move, but not as much. So we went to Siena and Bologna and did some day trips, but basically 2 stops. This time we decided to just go to 1 stop, which is a wonderful city of Torino. Torino is in Piedmont, Piemonte in the north. It's borders the French Alps, and it has very varied landscape. So the main city is Torino, and you have the association with the Savoy family. You have the history of, really the history of the unification of Italy is there.
And the very first car factory, the Fiat, with the Agnelli dynasty, is so
very true.
Torino.
It was, today it's the administrative office of the car industry. And then in the area, you have, it's surrounded by the Alps, you can see by the picture. And you have just south of there an area called Le Langhe. And there's a wine tasting on the 1st. I think it's sold out, which is a good thing. Because they're featuring the Barolo and the Barbaresco, Nebbiolo, some of the wines from Piedmont, which when you go on the trip one day, you will have a chance to go to that area along with Grinzane and Cavour. So we kind of took the approach that we would stay a day in Torino and go out, a day in Torino and go out, a day in Torino and go out. So on the days in Torino, we'll feature the main city, Piazza San Carlo, which is the main square. We'll do some of the local collections. There's a very important museum of Egyptian art and artifacts.
I think it's the 3rd in the world after the one in Cairo and the collection in Paris at the Louvre. I think that Torino is the 3rd.
Right up there.
Yeah.
It's a very important collection. And you don't expect to find it there, but it's beautiful. And also we're using a local guide named Salvatore. And I was there 2 years ago, and we went through the Egyptian Museum, and I'd been there twice before, but seeing it with him made it really special. It made you understand the history of everything that was there, how it got there, the collection itself, what it represented, etc. Then there's a museum of photography. There's a museum of cinema, Italian cinema. Everything in life is not about museums. So there's also the headquarters of Italy. It's in Torino. That's the heritage. And Lake Orta is one of the day trips to Asti. As Annelise mentioned, a chance to go to Milano, which is just about 1 hour by train. And I think it's a wonderful time of year. And the itinerary, the events we're doing are designed to showcase what Torino offers, what Piedmont offers, give you a chance to learn a little Italian, little history, eat some good food, drink some good wine, and have a lot of fun. So that's the vision of the trip.
Do you have any question? Of course, plus, what I love to do is to really go very well and in depth over the history and the characters and, play with their aphorism. So give you a lot of backside information. So sometimes, there is, you may be feeling a little bit of overload, but you're also getting a lot that you wouldn't be getting otherwise. So.
You also know the best gelaterias.
I always know the best gelateria, indeed, as Luis said, because one of the trips that, we always took was to find the best gelateria in each town. And Torino has some really good one. It's, it's a land of, Torino is famous for the chocolate as well. So Gianduiotto, which is made with hazelnut, is from Torino, same as the bacio, which is the hazelnut ice cream flavor. So, I mean, gourmet-wise, it's gonna be a phenomenal experience, and it's so rich with the history. Plus, I like the idea of staying put in the hotel so that there is not as much packing, unpacking, which was what we did in Sicily. It was great in one way, but after packing and packing so many times, it can get a little, you know, wearisome, so to speak. While if we stay in one, if all of our things is always in one hotel, then we have our dedicated drivers that will take us basically where we need to go, and we don't have to constantly be taking suitcases in one place or the other. The other thing is that it has been my experience in the past, once we get there, that the drivers are very, very cooperating, very nice. So when we went to Tuscany, I was able to add a few other itinerary that were not added. So we went to the Abbey of Sant'Antimo, which was a fantastic abbey that was founded at the time of Charlemagne, so one of the oldest in the region. And then we also went to Monteriggioni, which it's the only basically remaining walls with all the how do you say, all the turrets intact, and so they could see how a real fortress of the Renaissance would have looked like. And so they definitely enjoy that. So, you know, this is always something that I've been always able to negotiate. So if some of you comes up and say, hey, why don't we go? I've heard about this and I really would like to make a stop here, for example. Oftentimes that's very possible. The drivers are, you know, very, very cooperative, as I said. So they work with us and for us. And so they, you know, think about it, and usually they're always very happy to oblige. So in a way, we're tailoring the trip, and then there will be a tailoring within a tailoring where we can even meet a particular interest.
And the other thing that we designed was some workshops. So there's a master class in chocolate, and everybody knows about Nutella, but not everyone knows that it comes from this region, from Piedmont, because they're famous, as Annelise said, for the hazelnut. So the hazelnut with the chocolate comes together, and everyone has their favorite gelato flavor. Mine is gianduja.
Yeah.
You said gianduiotto. It's gianduja is hazelnut with dark chocolate. It's really good. And then we have a master class in vermouth, because vermouth was also originated in that area. So you'll have a chance to do it, and a cooking class. And Piemontese cuisine is just like every region of Italy. They have a unique cuisine, and you'll get to experience it. I like the fasano. It's so good.
And the agnolotto, I don't know if you do
No
agnolotto,
question.
which is the Piedmontese version of tortellini, basically. They're similar, not exactly the same, but similar. So I'll be very happy to. Last year we did the pasta, how to make pasta fresca. So we had this cooking class, and it was really nice. Everybody loved it. I mean, and then you get to sit and eat what you make, and you know, it's very satisfactory. And
So we welcome your interest. Any questions, Jane, Tony?
Yeah.
Where is Ferrari, the factory?
The factory.
We went last year to visit it. It's Modena, Maranello. It's not super easy to get to. You would need a car from Turin, because once you get to Modena, I mean, it's not that far from Modena train-wise. The issue is that it's not in Modena proper, but it's outside of Modena. It's in Maranello, which is like 20 minutes by bus. So, you know.
Interesting to see all the cars, but unfortunately the test track was closed that day.
Yeah.
But the car, just being in the museum.
Yeah, the museum was amazing. Yeah, and in fact, that's what I added. Remember last year I said, no, since we are in Bologna, I'm gonna take them to Maranello to the museum. and they definitely loved it. That was another of my variations into the tailoring of the trip.
But Tony, one thing is for sure, if you wanted to add on a few days or half a week or a week and do something on your own, go somewhere else in Europe, somewhere else in Italy,
Sure.
you have that flexibility to do that either before or after, and we'll tailor the flights and other activities around your interests.
And this is always possible for everybody. If you want to stay longer or get there earlier, I know that some of my students, for example, like to get there a couple of days earlier or a day earlier to kind of get adjusted a little bit, because you know the jet lag sometimes can get to you. That's also very possible. I mean, we're working with you and for you. So you know, Guido will be able to arrange all the details. I usually leave with my students, so the ones who leave on the same day, they will be leaving with me. And then I take them to the airport at the end of the trip. So
Other question.
Yes, sir.
TRN Torino,
Yes, it is.
yes.
so they have their own airport there.
There's Torino has a small airport, and then Malpensa, which is Milan, is
Yes.
about an hour and 15 minutes away. So depending how the flights are, we might fly to Malpensa and go in by bus, or fly to Torino. That's a
From
little
somewhere
closer,
else.
but again, it's a smaller airport. And the flights from Washington are all connecting. Last year, we connected home through Rome. I think it worked very well,
Well, last year we went straight to Rome.
nonstop.
So
And
we
then,
could do a non-stop to Rome and then Rome to Turin. It could be a possibility.
yeah, we have to look at the flights, maybe sometimes Rome, sometimes Newark.
Yeah,
Sometimes there's Newark Malpensa, that's a great flight.
okay.
And also sometimes Zurich, Amsterdam, Paris, Brussels,
Mm-hmm.
Frankfurt, we'll find the best flights.
Is there any indication that any of the Olympics is still there?
Of the winter.
Oh,
they
from
have
the
the
Winter
Games
Olympics?
in Torino.
Minimal, but I'll tell you one thing, because I was telling you, Tony, I have very few bad habits, but I like to watch tennis.
Yeah.
And in tennis, they have year-end championship, which is in Torino, every year for 6 years. And I go to that every year. And the arena where they play the tennis was built for the Olympics.
Okay.
It's called the Alpitur
Okay.
Pala. And it's a beautiful arena. And it was built for the Olympics, but you don't see much
Right.
tangible. However, I think in 4 more years, it's in Milan. The Winter Olympics are in Milan.
The thing that you can still see by Sestriere or Salice Dulce, where I go in the summer, there are still the signs with the circle.
With the circus.
That's left. That's still there.
And from Torino, I mean, you can see in this picture, but you can see the Alps. They surround the city. And there's one mountain that it's not in this picture, but it sticks up like this. And there's a little controversy about that mountain because it's called Monviso. And everyone in Italy, who here has seen a movie from Paramount Pictures? All of us? You know the mountain with the stars that go around? Well, that's, the Italians say that's Monviso. But at the same latitude, because these are glacial formation, the same latitude in Utah, there's a peak that looks almost the same. So nobody knows if it was really Monviso or if it's the one in Utah. So when you go there, you'll get to see it and you can make your own opinion.
Facebook viral because the sun was at the right size position
Mhm.
behind the movie.
Yes, I think it was the moon.
The moon.
Yeah, it was the
right,
moon behind the
It-
movie, so they thought it was photoshopped.
It's dramatic because the mountains are all like this and then boom, Monviso comes right up. I can show you pictures. It's beautiful.
So Turin was the first capital of Italy, as you probably know, because when when Italy became one country, Rome still belonged to the Pope. And it will continue to belong to the Vatican until the 1870, when the king was able, thanks to the destruction of the French king that was supporting the Vatican, we were able to take the Vatican, to take Rome, and the Pope retreated into the Vatican. And as a result, of course, the Pope prohibited all the Catholics to enter into the public life in Italy. We will have to wait until 1926, I believe, that was the date of the Lateranensis Pact that Mussolini struck with the Pope, with the back then Pope. And this is how Via della Conciliazione, the street that if you are in the St. Peter Square, you go out, there is a straight street. That's how Via della Conciliazione was open. There was a wall there that basically blocked the Vatican, and the Romans to come and go. And then as a token of peace, they abated the wall. And this is how Via della Conciliazione was created. So Rome, so first it was, the capital was Turin, then it became Florence only for a short period of time, and then finally Rome. So you will definitely see that this city had an important past, that was not just any city. That, it really was our first capital as well, because it was the capital of the Savoy region. Exactly. So you will see the Royal Palace there, which is still there. And there are so many other residency. Of course, there is the Reggio di Moncalieri, so there is Palazzo Carignano, there are so many. So
it's a wonderful city.
And they are all UNESCO sites.
Very varied. And the other thing that I really like about Torino is, I was just in Rome. It's February. Rome was so crowded.
In February?
You have no idea.
Oh, tell me
You
now.
have no idea. European travelers, a few Americans, mostly Europeans. Torino, as wonderful as it is, it's never crowded. You do not find crowds in Torino, which to me, that's a magnet. That's a good reason to go there, because there's so many wonderful things.
No, it is definitely
Easy day
nice.
trips, and it's never crowded.
The last time I was in Rome last year, I took my son, and I wanted to take him to Villa Borghese to show him the sculptures of Bernini, the Apollo and Daphne. And I looked it up. You couldn't get a ticket for 3 months in.
Yeah.
At Villa Borghese. It was unbelievable. So this is, in Rome, you have to basically get, and also you don't have as much time in, because they have to take a tour. So they tell you, okay, you can go in, but you only have 45 minutes. And then you're out. So you can't even stop and, admire to your heart content Il Galata Morente, or, all the beautiful statues that the collection has. So
I'm seeing the Last Supper in 15 minutes, I think.
Yeah. So
that's another very difficult ticket.
To get that. But anyway, I think Torino will offer you a bit more of an authentic experience, Italian experience, where yes, there will be tourism, but not as much as, say, Venice or Florence, which is also very crowded. Luis, remember last year when we went to Florence, it was so crowded you could barely see the pavement where you were walking. It was like literally elbow to elbow. Yeah. Any other question?
Piero, any questions?
No? Richard?
I guess 4 years from now, they're gonna have another Olympic.
In Milan.
Milan Cortina. Yes.
Alan, question? No?
Yeah, she's
Okay.
weird.
I also wanted to add.
Yes.
also for the people
Actually,
at
my
home.
name is Janet.
Oh, Janet, sorry. I saw that.
My husband's name came up. So is this itinerary on the website?
Yes, it
We are
is.
sharing the screen of the website.
Yeah, we're sharing the screen of the website.
So, okay, because want to enter some friends of mine who want to go to Italy. They've never been to Italy.
Nice.
Never been to Italy.
I've been many times, but I have friends and I'm trying to find something
We need to change that.
that will appeal to a first time, tourist in Italy. So
That may be
Maybe
actually,
share this.
Yeah, thank you. Because, you know, as much as Rome and Florence and Venice, you know, can be wonderful, they are so crowded that
I
if it's your
agree.
first time in Italy, you may savor the culture, the food, the monuments at a little bit more humane pace where you're not constantly being pushed around by somebody that's behind you, or, you know, by not standing in long lines and this kind of things.
Torino has a wonderful dimension to it. It's what they say in Italian, a misura d'uomo.
Yes.
It's a human dimension. So it doesn't overwhelm you, but there's enough there to really keep your interest. It's a perfect balance.
Plus the Lago Maggiore, the Lake Maggiore with the Borromea Islands and the Lago d'Orta are truly magic places. So, and
And I said, quite a few years ago, I was in Lake Como and it was in the summer and it was chilly. What do you think it will be like in September in that part of Italy?
with climate change, I always tell my students, I give them a list of packing. Always take a rain jacket, just in case, and an umbrella. Comfy shoes.
Oh, correct.
Oh, yeah.
See, from here, Turin is right as the backdrop of the Alps. So, you know, it should be still warm, but by mid-September, we could have a couple of colder days. And not for cold, you know, not cold, but
You don't need a parka, but bring layers.
yeah,
Like
exactly.
70s, like maybe in the 70s or.
Yeah, it could be down in the 60s if there is a cold breeze coming from the Alps. And it has happened, you know. But as I said, always bring enough clothes. I travel personally with only a carry-on, and in my carry-on, I managed to fit everything. And that, yeah, because you just need, you know, a rain jacket, perhaps a little sweatshirt, but light one, and then, you know, pants, long shorts, and then you're ready for everything. A hat. It's always a good thing to have because the sun sometimes can be strong. We're out all day going around, so to have a hat is a good thing. In Sicily was a must. I saw people that didn't bring a hat going to run for together. Exactly.
How about a parasol? I carry a parasol all the time. So.
Good idea.
Exactly.
And then
Pack light, because that's the
Yeah.
other thing that what I usually tell my students is fit everything you can fit in the carry-on and take another suitcase with you. And I tell you this because it happens every year that I have to bring home something for somebody because they overstuff their suitcase, not realizing that they're not gonna need all these things, and then they see
they buy something.
like, you know, ceto balsamico. We were in the land of food, so people started buying Parmigiano Reggiano, ceto balsamico, this and that. And then they realized that there was no way to close that suitcase. So, you know, my suggestion is always pack everything you need in your carry-on. And then come with another suitcase, the size you want.
Or a duffel bag that folds up inside.
That you
Or
can,
for 50 euro, you can buy a bag and bring it all home.
yeah, and then you fill up the second bag with the goodies that you find, and you know.
Or if you buy the Barolo, it will never make it home. You'll drink it in Torino.
Exactly. About wine that I can tell you right now is that oftentimes when you go to these places, you can buy wines in cases and they'll be shipped to you to the United States.
Yeah.
So that you don't have to worry about putting wines into your suitcase with the potential that the wine is gonna break, the wine bottles are gonna break. But definitely you will be, you know, if you want to buy Gianduiotti and whatnot, you know, the chocolate and
that won't make it home. You'll be
full suitcases. Also because, you know, oftentimes we're not gonna need many clothes. I usually, you know, I mean, unless you need a lot of changes, but you know, you can go by with a few clothes. You don't really need that many.
and
It's comfortable shoes. Never bring shoes that it's the first time that you're wearing them.
the other thing, when you stay in one place, you have the chance to send out the laundry.
Exactly.
So when I travel, I take about a 3-day wardrobe. And every third day I send it out, and then it's always fresh.
Yeah, the hotels have services for that, so you know you don't need, because we're staying in the same hotel, you'll definitely be able to put your laundry out if needed.
And there's even a couple of right in downtown Torino, the laundry that you can bring the stuff.
Mm.
They'll have it ready in 2 days, and it costs, basically they do it by the weight, by the kilo. Hardly costs anything.
Yes.
How different is the food up around that way? As opposed to-
Different in what sense?
You mean from Rome or Southern Italy?
Yeah,
It's
less tomato.
very different.
Fresh tomato, they have a lot of type of veal that they only grow in that area. Some specialty cheeses.
No fried food. They tend not to have, like in Sicily, everything is fried, exactly. But here, the cuisine is a little lighter than in Sicily, for example.
And anyone who likes tartare, which is the rare beef, because a lot of Italy has carpaccio, which is sliced. This is tartare, so it's a little more the French style than the carpaccio.
Okay,
It's
Sì, la vitello tonnato.
there we go. And different types of pasta and very, very little tomato. Giusto.
See? Well, because they don't grow very well. Tomatoes need heat to grow. And you know, the summers up in Torino are short. So tomatoes, you know, you have to go to Pachino in Sicily for the tomato growing. So
Mushroom meat.
Yeah.
So our hope is to fill a nice group. Everyone is invited, your friends. And I'm going to be away next week, but if you send an email either to the ICS or to me at Bethesda Travel, is my email on there? It's I can tell you what it is.
So I think
Is it on there?
here, yeah, it's at the end of this page. See
Yeah,
Bethesda Travel.
BethesdaTravel.com.
And
And
yeah,
if there's a link there, you can send the email.
yes.
And
you
we
can
welcome
find
your
it
questions, we
here.
welcome your interest, and we'd like to know fairly soon because the flights are going to start filling up. So we'd love to have your, enrollment and answer any questions. Oh, there's the email.
Ciao.
Ciao.
At BethesdaTravel.com.
So ciao.
And there's also the phone number.
And we welcome your interest. We hope to see you in Piemonte.
Absolutely.
Francesca, something to add?
Yes.
Yes, I want to
Here,
add
please.
that this year, this area is also a protagonist of our gala. You know that every year we have a gala at the embassy. Every year we celebrate the excellence in the Italian excellence in one sector was fashion, it was architecture last year. This year will be food and wine. So we'll have slow food and top wine producers of the region of Langhe. So also slow food was born in the Langhe. And there is a university that Carlo Petrini founded in one of the residence of the Savoy. It's where they had their horses. And today is a famous University of Pollenzo, an international university of Scienze Gastronomiche.
Is everyone familiar with slow food?
With what?
Slow food? It's a movement, to counteract fast food. They say you can have the fast food. We like slow food.
Slow food.
For you.
Also produce and harvest and put it on the table. So this is the idea of slow food.
Locavore.
Exactly, where everything's authentic and it's based on you are going to the place that produces the first, that produces the vegetables and the meat, and they're gonna cook it right there on the stop for you. So for example, whatever is in season, whatever they just can pull out of the fields is gonna be on your table. So it's ideally it's kilometro zero.
Yes, locavore.
And respect for the territories of
And the history, the tradition.
See this slow food all over the world, also in the US, they're in New York, the big headquarter of Slow Food America, but also in Washington.
Mhm.
And so it's a philosophy that
But
That's
slow food originated in Piedmont.
there in the Langhe, in this
It
region.
originated in Bangkok, but I think the Sicilian had been practicing it for years. But sit down at 8:30 and we wouldn't leave before close to midnight.
Slow food.
Shocking, and that was shocking to my American fellow travelers. However, the last night that we were there, and the dinner was only 2.5 hours long instead of 3.5.
You had a
Everybody said,
flight ticket.
early tonight, you know, they were getting the hang of it, of just sitting at the table, you know, relax, chat, without the care in the world. So that is one of the great experiences of the slow food in general.
Genuine ingredients and take
Yes.
your time, sit at the table, because that's part of being healthy.
Correct.
Exactly.
And not just, we didn't mind a Burger King and put it on the ground and go out.
Relationship of a conversation around the table to build the relations that are good for your health, besides the healthy ingredients. So that's the theme. This year it's all about Langhe, Piemonte, Torino for
Slow
the
food.
gala, wine tasting.
If some of you
about
would want to come to the gala, you're of course
Remind us today, the date.
the gala should be June 14th to be
Okay.
confirmed.
June
Soon I
14th.
will announce it and
Yes,
March
it's
1st.
here at the Embassy of Italy in Washington, D.C.
so, and then this trip to
Yes.
this area that will celebrate all year.
So if you want to hear more about the founder of the slow food movement, the philosopher behind it, and meet some of some of the greater producer really of the Barbaresco and Barolo wine,
yeah.
Barbaresco and Barolo wine, you can definitely meet them in person at the gala. These were the pioneers of wine, the ones that started importing Italian wine,
Expensive wine.
the very expensive Italian wine to the United States
And are
first.
they here in the States or are they from?
Coming from the gala.
Because we should try to visit them when we're there.
Yeah.
You gave me a good idea. We should try to do that.
But they will be coming for specifically to be awarded at our gala.
Which producer is that?
The
Can you tell us?
Credo,
Not official yet.
official yet.
we have to announce it yet officially. So
You're the first to know.
yes, not literally.
Yeah, also Lavazza is from there, and they are all members of the slow food.
Lavazza, the coffee.
So
The family Lavazza is doing a lot of good ethical things in the world to ensure that everybody's treated correctly in their coffee production, and they have a foundation, and they are trying to be as ethical as possible. And so they are all part of this slow food movement, and their board of directors also with these wine producers that are, quality first. And so it will hopefully be interesting if they confirm. They are all, well, yeah.
Yeah.
Also, there is some health issues also that is
Mhm.
stopping us from announce this gala, so we'll see. But it's in this area, so
All right. Well,
Well, thank you, everyone. We will see you in Torino.
hopefully see you in Torino.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, they can't see you.
First minute.
We just
I
went on.
just